You ever walk into a room and feel like everyone's laughing at you, but you don't know why? That was me. I married into money thinking I'd found love. But the truth? I'd stepped into a world where people like me weren't meant to belong. And when I finally found out what they really thought of me, I made sure the elite got a taste of their own medicine. If you've ever been looked down on, laughed at, or underestimated, this story's for you. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you believe in poetic justice, and get ready. Because this revenge, it's smooth, strong, and served ice cold. Back in 2018, I thought I'd found my forever person. My now ex-husband, Jordan, walked into the restaurant where I worked, a high-end place his uncle owned. I was just a server, always hustling double shifts, chasing tips, dreaming about building something of my own one day. When Jordan came in, he was polite, kind, and surprisingly down to earth. He had that kind of soft-spoken confidence that made you feel like you were the only person in the room. When he asked for my number at the end of his meal, I laughed. Guys like him don't date girls like me. But he smiled, insisted, and by the end of the week, we were talking every day. The first few months were a dream. Fancy dinners, long drives, spontaneous trips. He made me feel seen, like maybe I finally belonged somewhere I'd never dared to go. He loved telling me I was refreshing. At the time, I thought it was sweet. Later, I realized it was code for not like us. After a year of dating, we got married. Small ceremony, beautiful venue, and a smile on my face that could have lit up the sky. But something shifted right after the wedding. It started small, a sarcastic comment here, a patronizing tone there. Jordan began correcting me in front of his friends. If I mispronounced a wine name, he'd smirk and say, "It's cute when she tries." They'd all laugh, and I'd force myself to smile. I told myself it was harmless, that he was just teasing. But deep down, it felt like tiny cracks forming in the walls of my self-worth. He came from wealth, generations of it. His parents lived between London and Monaco. His sister studied art history in Paris, and their dinner conversations were always about investment portfolios and yacht clubs. Meanwhile, I was the girl who'd grown up clipping grocery coupons and praying the power wouldn't get cut off. I didn't belong in their world, but I tried. I really did. Then came the day I met his sister for the first time. She was flying in from Europe with her boyfriend, and Jordan was excited. "You'll love her," he said. "She's a little blunt, but she means well." We picked them up from the airport, and the second she saw me, she squealed, "Oh my God, she's totally Jordan's." Her boyfriend laughed. Jordan chuckled, and I smiled awkwardly, pretending to understand. "What's Jordan's?" I asked, laughing lightly. Jordan waved it off. "It means you've got great style." I thanked her and thought, okay, that's cute. Maybe they actually like me. Over the next few days, they kept calling me Jordans. At breakfast, at dinner, everywhere. I thought it was a sweet nickname until it wasn't. A few nights into their visit, we all decided to open some wine. They brought a few expensive bottles from Europe, but I had my favorite, a cheap little red blend I always loved. They made polite faces when I poured it. As the night went on and the alcohol kicked in, the politeness started to fade. His sister laughed, swirling her glass. "Oh my God, this tastes like grape juice from a gas station." Her boyfriend snorted. "What even token is this? $3? Jordan laughed with them. I sat there, cheeks burning, pretending to laugh too. I told myself not to make a scene, not to embarrass myself. But the laughter didn't stop. Then came their brilliant idea. A drinking game. Truth or dare. Silly, childish. But everyone was drunk enough to think it was funny. When it was Jordan's turn, his sister smirked. Okay, Truth, tell her what Jordan's really means. They all laughed again, and my stomach twisted. Jordan tried to dodge it, but they egged him on. Come on, tell her, she teased. Finally, he sighed, grinning. Fine. Jordan's is what we call homeless people who have style. The next morning, they acted like nothing had happened. Everyone was hungover, sluggish, chatting about breakfast plans. I couldn't even look at them. Later that day, I confronted Jordan. What the hell was that about last night? I demanded. He looked confused at first, then defensive. You're being too sensitive. It was just a joke. I didn't back down. No, tell me the truth. Did you really tell them about my upbringing? Did you make fun of me? He sighed. I may have mentioned that you didn't come from money. I just wanted to prepare them. Like I was a disease they needed to be vaccinated against. I felt something inside me snap. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just went quiet. That's the moment I decided I wasn't going to let this slide. The room exploded in laughter. I just froze. My brain couldn't process what I'd heard. Homeless people. They'd been calling me that all week and laughing behind my back. I wasn't as drunk as they were, so I sat there in silence, blinking back tears, trying not to let them see me break. My heart was pounding, my hands trembling under the table. I excused myself to go to the bathroom, locked the door, and cried quietly. The next few days, I kept my distance. I made excuses to stay busy, grocery runs, walks, anything to avoid being around them. On their last night in town, Jordan had planned something special. An expensive bottle of tequila, apparently a collector's item. He was saving it to impress his sister and her boyfriend before they left. I made excuses to stay busy. Grocery runs, walks, anything to avoid being around them. On their last night in town, Jordan had planned something special. An expensive bottle of tequila, apparently a collector's item. He was saving it to impress his sister and her boyfriend before they left. They went hiking that afternoon, and I stayed behind. That's when my plan formed. I set up my phone camera on the counter and hit record. I took the expensive bottle, poured it out into the sink, every golden drop, and replaced it with a cheap bottle of Sauza Gold. Then I sat in front of the camera, poured myself a shot, and started talking. I talked about my childhood, about growing up poor but proud, about how I learned the value of kindness and humility. I talked about how money doesn't buy class, and how I'd rather be broke with dignity than rich and rotten. I toasted to my family, to my late mother, to the strength she gave me. Then, I toasted to the elite I'd married into, and said, "Let's see how refined your palates really are." When they returned, I was already tipsy and giggling. I told them I'd gotten into the tequila early. They rolled their eyes and started pouring themselves glasses. As they sipped, I watched. The sister swirled it like wine, inhaled dramatically, and said, "You can taste the quality." Her boyfriend nodded. "It's so smooth. Jordan looked proud. I almost laughed out loud. After a few rounds, I stood up and said, "Hey, before you go, I made something special for you guys. A little thank you video." I connected my phone to the TV, pressed play, and stood there as the footage rolled. They watched me on the screen, laughing and talking, swapping the tequila, mocking their elitism without naming names. The moment I said, "Let's see how refined your palates really are," the room went dead silent. No one moved. No one breathed. The only sound was the faint buzz of the TV. When the video ended, I smiled, collected the shot glasses, and said, "Thanks for visiting." Then I walked upstairs and went to bed. About an hour later, Jordan stormed into the room. "What the hell was that? My sister's crying. You humiliated us." I rolled over, looked him dead in the eyes, and said, "Yeah, sucks, doesn't it?" The next morning, they left early. No goodbyes, no fake hugs, just silence. His sister never spoke to me again. Even months later, when we visited his parents in Europe, she refused to come see us. Honestly, best gift she ever gave me. It took me another year to leave Jordan, but when I finally did, it was like breathing again after years underwater. I realized I'd spent so much time trying to fit into a world that was never meant for me, when in reality, there was nothing wrong with me. People like them think money makes them better. But money doesn't build character. Struggle does. Empathy does. And the best revenge isn't screaming or fighting. It's showing people their ugliness without saying a word.